I get it.
Straight back. After the tour, we have 5 coal company buildings, a pioneer village with our blacksmith in today, and a really cool museum, innovation. Yeah, we'll be all here.
Exhibition Coal Mine, my name's Dorsal. I'll be your guide. You hear that name every day, don't you? Most popular name. We gotta have safety meeting. First thing we do is stay seated while these cars is moving. Ready to go?
Is it over?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Is it over?
Hey, this coal mine's here opened up in 1890. The Phillips family on this property out front, they were farming. So one day, by accident, digging post holes, they found this seam of coal. The family talked it over and decided to mine house coal, see if they could sell to the folks in this area and do better than farming. Done real well in here for 20 years, 1890 to 1910. The reason they shut down, coal companies in this area selling coal cheaper than them, put them out of business. This mine sat here from 1910 to 1959. That's when the city of Beckley got this property. Took them over 2 years to make this into a tour mine. Started giving tours in June of 1962. Normally 50,000 people per year come through here from all over the world. A few years ago we had that World Scout Jamboree up here. I think it was in 19. We had almost 60,000 that year. Okay, in this area right here, ones they can see in here, this was mined about 120 years ago. This is original works of the Phillips family. Big difference in out here, actual width here was probably 5.5 foot wide, maybe not even that. The reason for that is roof control. This top right here is solid sandstone all the way up. If it wasn't, this would have fell years ago. It's the best top you can get anywhere. This top from the coal up to the sandstone is blue shell slate. It's not good top. If you cut it wider than that, they only had the timbers to support it with. Too much weight on them, caving in. And they had to leave about a 4-foot opening between those timbers because the cars they had back in are a lot skinnier than that one. They were about 4 foot wide, they could get a ton of coal on them. Now the Phillips family mined about a foot of rock. From that coal up to that top is about a foot. That's consistent with other works in here where they mine. They mine coal and rock, hauled it outside and separated it. Now, if you work for a coal company, you don't mine no rock. They would take the top down on an idle ship when they were not producing coal. Working for the coal company, they had to load 6 of them 1-ton cars. Maximum loaded, every lump you could get on it, 20 cents a car. Had a little rock like you see over there, they wouldn't pay them anything. If it was not maximum loaded, they didn't pay them anything. Be maximum loaded, had that graveyard hump on it, high as you could pile it. When they pulled it out the drift mouth where you go outside, they had a board drop it down. It had to touch the coal to get to 20 cents. If it touched it, it was a metric ton. What, 400 pounds, 5, whatever. They cheated me the way they went at it. Miners didn't have a chance. If they didn't pay them, they kept them in debt. See, they go work every day. That's the purpose of that. They coal miners on here? No miners? Well, I better tell you about a fire boss, haven't I? You know what a fire boss is? He goes through the mines to make a safety examination. You have to be a certified foreman through the state of West Virginia to do it here. Right here, you're the first one through the mines. Here's where I came through this morning. You'll date up throughout this whole mines, different boards. Show that you check it. Old days, fire boss didn't have a good job. His job was to get rid of methane gas. Methane is lighter than air. It accumulated at the roof. He carried a pocket full of rags and a stick. He'd light him a rag and stretch back and shove it up in that hole. There's methane there. That's how he got his name. It would burn it off. I've seen a lot of pictures, several of them. Never seen one yet had any eyebrows. Well, got killed, I'm telling you. What kind of bird you wanted, but their favorite was a canary. Canary's a small bird, small lungs. Most important thing with this canary, if you've got a little girl at the house in a cage, you put a boy in there with her, you take him out, she starts throwing them conniption fits, never shuts up, screaming. Put him back in there, you don't hear a peep out of him. But he's doing the same thing. That's why the miners liked them so good. They could bring either one of them underground, those guys mining coal, set them on the ground, be up there 100 foot or more working, that bird screaming every breath. He gets where he don't hear it, and he gonna crawl back there and flop over like this one. Just saved his life, see. Check for methane, we use these flame safety lights. See, this has vents around the top. You just ease it up real slow. If you have methane, you'll get a blue cap on this flame, just like a gas stove. You just ease her down. Now, when I wasn't checking methane, I'd stick it in a belt loop. That way, I'm always checking for black damp with this, see. If that thing goes out, I light it, put it there again. I know the black damp's done fill the place half full. That's how you're going to get rid of it, see. Now, some of the early lights he used in the mines was lanterns and candles. That wasn't very good. So then he went to this teapot. It wasn't any better. Got a little spout on it with a wick on it. Can it light oil, kerosene, like that thing? Stick it on the side of the rack. Burn for about an hour. Very poor visibility. That's the other group leaving, what you know yonder. Water hits the carbide. That makes acetylene gas, just like you're going to cut your metal with. Right?
Oh my goodness.
Educated there too, you move your hand in a hurry or it is hot. I'm going to show you the working conditions.
Oh my word.
That's the big improvement in lighting. How'd you like work 12, 14 hours with that? My dad started mine in 1924, 15 years old. This is what he used. No wonder so many of them got killed back in those days. The big improvement, this would burn for 3 hours, see. As far as visibility, there wasn't no improvement. Y'all want to see total darkness?
Sure.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
I mean, you see a little light. It's always darker in the dungeon. Here was our working conditions. We had the lights on our head. We didn't have lights throughout the mines. All right, here we go. This right here would be a working room for a hand loader who will always work by hand, working for a coal company back in those days. Had 20 men in your hand loading, each one would have an area like this to work, entry room, whatever you want to call it. They could leave their tools here. If they could not load those 6 cars in a 12-hour shift, the company fired them, didn't have any use for them. They'd bring boys with them, 6 to 15 years old. Help make the cuts, load the cars. Never got paid a penny though. When they turned 15, like my dad, they got a place of their own to work, see. State law said age 14. Coal companies said no, it had to be 15. It was not for the boys' benefit, they got an extra year of free labor, is all it amounted to. Coal height in here is around 32 inches. That's what this man's working in, working for a coal company. He can't take no top. They do it on the idle shifts, see. This type mining at 32 inches up to around 40 is called scratch back mining. Out of the 44 years I spent at the coal companies, I spent 11 years crawling around this stuff. Guess that's why my knees hurt, back and everything else. Older age don't help. Now this old miner here will crawl back in here on his knees, takes a pick to make his cut with. Crawls back next to the coal, lays down on his side. He digs an undercut underneath the coal in the rock, makes it that much harder. 4 foot wide or deep, 5, 6, 7 foot wide, depending on roof conditions. Now once he gets it all dug out, he takes his shovel, reaches in, throws all the rock out. It has to be clean. Then he drills 3 holes, 4 foot deep, one on each side, one in the middle with his hand drill. It's called a breast auger. He's on his knees, puts that against his chest, leans into it, cranks it. Take a while, drill them holes. Eventually he'll get it. Once he gets the holes drilled, he crawls out the mouth of place. That's where he kept his powder. Back in, most of them use black powder. He'll roll it up in paper, if he's lucky enough to have bags, whatever, fill all 3 holes full of powder. Then he'll put mud or dirt, whatever he get behind it. This one here's one. Tamp it up, see? Tamp it up tight. Pack it in there. Once it gets tamped up, he has to shove a little hole back in all 3 of them, maybe 6 inches or so deep. That's where he puts the fuses. Fuses are called squibs. They look just like a wick on a firecracker, about the same thing. Put all 3 squibs in the hole, then he ties them together. Then he's got to crawl out here and warn the other miners. Fire, fire, fire in the hole! Crawls back there and lights that squib. That's when he better be faster to the squib. Hopefully he gets out there. As soon as the shot goes off, he don't have time for that dust and smoke to clear. The company don't allow it. Shoves that first car right up in that dust, gets as close as he can get it and blocks it. There's not enough height to shovel over the car, it's in the top. The board on the front has hinges, flip it down. The shovel he uses like a pitchfork. The only thing he loads is what coal. Starts slinging that coal back in that car. Eventually he'll get all 3 cars loaded. Someone will take them outside. He's got to get another cut. But he has 4 foot of unsupported top. He'll have a set of timber on each side for roof support. Those 2 timbers are the only thing a company supplies that man with. Every tool he uses, pick, shovel, drill, carbide, you name it, he buys it at the company store, comes out of his wages. Most of them live in company houses, food, furniture, clothing, rent, everything. Come out of his check. Most of them never drawed a penny the owner sold the company store. If he drawed anything, it was script, company money, spent at the company store. If a miner got killed back in those days, normally on the day of the funeral, when the family returns home, their furniture's thrown out in the yard. Another miner moved in that house. Some companies would throw them out today, they got killed, they didn't care. They're no better today anywhere then, to be honest with you. All yours a number. That's it. I mean, that's the way it is. I'm glad it was better for my kids. I always want to improve for them. All your coal mines use those scoops. They're DC battery powered. The bucket on the front, you can haul supplies, haul coal. You can spit shine roadways with that. That one was the very first scoop ever built. Bill Drumheller, who lived down around Sophia here in Raleigh County, he built that in his spare time as a hobby in the garage of his house in 1963. He did not get a patent. His family lost buildings, no doubt about it. All over the south, coal mines all over the world now. It's a shame. That Jeffrey loading machine, that come along around 1929, powered by DC electricity, that traveling cable. That's what replaced your hand loaders. Companies put equipment in the mines to load the coals. That has arms on the front, chained down the middle with a boom line. That operator there, we call it Marvin. If you ever been here, went on a tour with Marvin, you remember him. He loved that job, worked here for years. He passed away last year, he's about 80, almost 84. Old Marvin trimmed that in a cut. His buddy start with shoved the car under the boom, and less than a minute you had a car cold loaded. Now you talk about a big time production booster, that was. Loaded a lot of rock. Companies put young boys young as 5 on picking slate, cleaning the coal. They had them doing other jobs than mine stuff. I could not imagine this day and time a 5-year-old working for any company or one of the coal company, but they did. Now, if y'all see Marvin moving over, let me know. We should get out of out here. When he passed away, his family done nothing. These roof bolts is what holds your top up. You can cut your roadways 20 foot wide legally. A roof bolt came out probably the middle 1930s. Early holes they drilled with a stoke or a jackhammer. Very slow process. Now the roof bolt has to anchor in 1 solid foot of strata. You can have crack separations under it. Put that plate on it, no more than 4 foot apart, it pulls it together. Builds a bridge is what it actually does. Around 41, early 40s, you start getting these single head roof bolters. By 43, you had the gables, a real good one. This one's along air docks. Take your drill steel with this head, drill your hole like you see right here. Now, the very first bolts they used that they come out with had like a wedge on the end of it. Put your plate on it, take a sledgehammer and drive it up in there. A very slow process. But it helped some, helped. So in the late 30s, by the time the early 40s, it come out these here, what they call the conventional bolts. These are like anchors and cement. You go about 4 inches hold. Shove that thing up in there and that expands when you torque it up. But it would bleed off, start backing off, get people hurt and killed. So in 1974, DuPont came out with these rosin bolts, glue bolts, whatever you want to call them. The hole you drill is real small, just enough to put your glue in. This rosin is 2 chemicals, epoxy, I'm not showing the other. Shove it right up in your hole. You would have your bolt machine lined up with that drill head, shove it right up in that glue, see. Start spinning it. Once you start that, 4 foot bolt, 10, 12 seconds, you better have it up. Real long there and that glue sets up, all you got's a good back scratcher, because it ain't going no further. Did you get that again at the top? This whole 4 foot's holding, see? That's all they use today on these roof bolts. Save thousands of lives, no doubt about it. The lunch is disappearing. These critters here was eating their lunches. Every mines I ever worked in had rats running everywhere. This looked like a mouse compared to some of them. Rats are smart enough to. The miners started putting a piece of rock or slate on that lid. That way they couldn't steal their lunch. Still disappearing. Co-workers stealing their lunches. Probably the bosses laying around then, and then nothing else to do, steal the lunch. Here's Marcher dessert pan. The old miner bring a fried pie, piece of cake, whatever his wife would fix him, see. My day was an oatmeal cake or a moon pie. You ever eat a moon pie?
Yes.
Boy, they good, ain't they?
Yes.
Since the methane buildup, a bunch of guys come down this track, I saw them come, several of them. We're gonna be in front of them, you can bet on that, that's how much I trust them. They've saved a lot of lives, that's why they're in the coal mines. We'll go around through the park and hopefully get back where we started from.
Or a married minor living away from home.
Very Branch Hollow. And there's 2 rooms in here. 1 through 4 is here, 5 through 8 is over there. After 8th grade, the boys went in lines to work, the girls either stayed home or got married. And they closed in 1965. Magnolia Baptist Church took it over and used it for their congregation for several years. After they got done, they donated it to the expedition coal mines. The miners and other people that worked here went over and tore it down piece by piece, brought it over here in 1999. December the 6th, 3 years later, December the 6th, 2002, they got it open for tours. That is a girl and boy dictionary. It says right on the front, boys and girls. The rules for the teachers and the kids back there on that table. Our oldest books are back there in the picture frame. George Washington's picture was never finished because the artist passed away. We got the dunce hat. Our flag up above is got 48 stars. And we got these maps over here from 1958 maps. And here was your tablet back in the day. And then here's the Board of Education. And here was your ink pen back in the day. And of course, they done Bible stuff in this classroom too. So, and here was your ink. You put it in this little slot right here. Yes, right here. You just put in your feather down in there and got you a little ink and started writing.
I know you want to. Oh, I know, this is cool stuff. Yep, and that's a coat of wood stuff.
See these up there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, you did. These are still the same.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love
Probably
those.
not me.
I love those.
I did
those.
too.
That thing is heavy as lead.
I bet it is.
It didn't bother me when we were up, because I just knew it. I'm thinking to myself, I shouldn't have to apologize for not having furniture, because we didn't get it tonight. Somebody was living until 1990. But they left, because that's why the furniture, the floors and things were so bad. They wanted to buy it.
Oh, my
They wanted
gosh.
to sell it.
Oh, wow.
And so,
I'm just up here standing upset.
Charlie Earhart, he was actually car dealership. So he got on his property. So we could go in and do this. Wow, that's how it happens. Okay, so you go up, remember there's one time you barber shop first. And then there's a bathroom, 2 bedrooms. Okay. You go to the turtle phone machine, you're gonna turn right, and then you're gonna see a mannequin in the post office.
They also had a cash register just like that.
I heard they had some antiques.
Machine.
Have you been through the mine?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you did, so you just trying, and I'm gonna move so you can do a view. There you go. You can do a wide thing, get it all at one time. Thermometer top refrigerator. Motors on top.
There's also a lot of what changed. That guy went into the White House and he stopped sending troops to support the coal companies. So therefore they became far more negotiable because they didn't have that military force back in. It's authentic. This is not a replica. This actually was a coal mine. He more than likely had a bedroom set up in here for his kids. Backyard anyway, because that's kind of where socialized things back then. So we got too hot in here, they sit out there. When it got too cold out there, they come back in here. That is where it was when we I was kids. This house, which is at the bottom. Right. Bedroom, when I point out that page. You're really from Philly, or somebody just give you a hat?
What's that?
You're really from Philly, or somebody just give you a hat?
Well, we're from Pennsylvania, but big Phillies fan.
I know the feeling, I'm an A's fan. And exit up, where a couple of coal mines were, and the power plant is in Philadelphia in 1900. These guys actually got electricity, trying to upgrade them to make them feel like they were more part of society. So in all fairness, coal companies in some ways tried to be the benevolent father type of thing. Got this going, it wasn't like it was that much more money for presentation in May. Just read, because I wrote everything stuff, so.
Have you read the book Dead Ringers? Have you read
I started with a human history of coal, a human,
Yeah, I've done that, and he also had a company in the house.
and then they went on from there.
They're running renewables. And then they need, if
We are now boarding the 1:30 tour.
Some kind of Corps of Engineers built it, actually, back in 1938. That's why it's held up so good. They all date from the mid-1800s, which is before coal mining. These are early settlers, pioneers that were farmers. Nothing to do with coal mining. These were subsistence farmers. This is the country store. The little bitty one was actually used in a parade. It was on a float. Farmers would not take time to build playhouses. All their energy went into survival. That was built back in 1938. Beckley had its 100-year centennial celebration. That was on a float, and it represents a log house. The country store is where farmers came for supplies. They had very little cash money. They bartered and traded some, and they made a little money by making moonshine from corn and selling it. They could get a little cash that way. So they came here for things like salt, sugar, flour, gunpowder, buckshot, maybe a tool, maybe some canning supplies, things they couldn't make. When you walk on down, we have a moonshine shed down there with all the parts in it. Came from somebody's farm. The log house straight in front of you is open. There's another tour guide in there. There's a barn in the right-hand corner and the blacksmith over there where the smoke's coming. And then the one-room schoolhouse.
One for boys and one for girls. Isn't that amazing how that works?
Did you guys get to enjoy the coal mines?
Oh, it's terrific.
Pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you my favorite piece of coal mining history. And it just so happened to come from a blacksmith. And it's how the coal miner sees underground.